In the last video, we showed how to run the PARAFAC model from the GUI environment, and we've got some results for the block that we produce. We've got our PARAFAC results. Now, what do we do with these? How do we handle them? Again, I had said that what it all means probably requires some study on your own, but what I can show you is kind of how to handle this. So in order to see what the model for each of these component systems look like, you click on one of the dots in this top graph. So let's say we want to look at this particular model. And we get a window showing the components in three different modes. With the fluorescence data, mode 1 corresponds to emission wavelengths, mode 2 corresponds to excitation wavelengths, and mode 3 corresponds to each individual data set, the contribution from each individual data set. If you remember the dimensionality of the data we used for this, it was 221 by 7. In this case, it was by 2. This one was a data block from 2 different individual data sets. So this is where the position comes into play. We know that we selected position 1 for a particular data set and position 2 for a different particular data set. We can look at the PARAFAC GUI to get that information. We can also look at the excitation values in the plot, or also when you load the data, the excitation values will be stated in the command window. So we can actually go back and look at the top and see the excitation values for each load were given here. So we loaded the first file 1. These are the excitation values. The excitation values for the file in file 4, these values, they're all the same, which is good because we want them to be the same to produce a consistent, valid data block. So we can look at different solutions, different models. Again, to fully understand these will require some independent study. However, what we do want to enter is down in the command window, it's going to ask for which number of components, 1 through 4, do you want the parameters. That's going to give you the actual values for these model results for a given number for the given component number. So if we type in, we want the parameters for 3 for a 3 model component. So we want to get the parameters for the models from a 3 model component. We enter 3 and hit enter. Now it's going to prompt us to save the PARAFAC results. We have kind of this default tag to keep everything consistent, so you can go back and find it, and we can say this was block 2. We can say block 2 PARAFAC results. Again, this will be saved as a .mat file, so we can save that, and then the workspace, we get those PARAFAC results. Again, to fully understand and utilize these results will require some learning on your own, but those are the results that we retrieve after running the entire PARAFAC process. So we create the PARAFAC, we create the block, we run the PARAFAC, we look at the different models from the scree plot, we look at the different models, we decide how many number of components seem to model the data best. We get the parameters for those component models for the models for that specific number of components, and that will give us our results. So that is kind of the basic handling of the output from running PARAFAC in the GUI.